It's Trailer Park, the podcast trailer podcast. You made it. Isn't it nice here? I really spruced up the place. I'm your host, Arielle Nissenblatt, and I'm here to share a podcast trailer with you. Then I'll talk about that trailer. My hope is to introduce you to a show that you might love as a listener and to help you make dynamite short audio clips if you're a creator. Clips that hook your listeners so much so that they need more from you. On the last episode of Trailer Park, we shared the trailer for Up in Smoke, created by Guy Larson. If you want to hear a trailer for a podcast that you can basically see with your mind's eye, I highly recommend hitting play on that episode. Before we get to today's episode, a reminder that we're in the middle of our trailer giveaway contest. We're working with Little Monster Media to give away production on a free trailer for your podcast. Totally free. More details on that towards the end of today's episode. Let's get to today's trailer. This one comes from a creator that I've admired for a long time in podcast land. I pretty much enjoy everything that his ears touch, or that my ears touch of his. That's not a phrase, but maybe it should be. Jody Avirgan has worked on a lot of sports podcasts, 30 for 30 from ESPN, Good Sport from TED. He also hosts a history podcast called This Day in Esoteric Political History, and he produces one of my favorite daily podcasts, The Puzzler with AJ Jacobs. So, when I found out that he was launching a new show, I had to get my ears on the trailer. Let's hit play on the trailer for Jody's new show. It's called Summer Album / Winter Album.
John, final question. I'm just curious, in this larger idea of the intersection between seasons and music, do you organize your listening that way? I appreciate you engaging in the premise here.
Oh, absolutely not. No. And in fact, when you first told me that you were doing this podcast, I've got to confess, I was having dinner with my family that night and I mentioned it. And I said, summer records, winter records. My first thought was, that's a little shoehorny. There must be too many podcasts out there. And we've started talking about it. And suddenly we realized that we were talking about that stuff for quite a while. Completely embracing the theme and talking about what does make a summer record and what does make a winter record. So this is actually a really interesting way to think about music.
Here's a simple fact. Every album ever recorded is either a summer album or a winter album. No exceptions.
Pet Sounds, summer album.
Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, winter album.
And Graceland, also a winter album.
That is wrong, Craig. You are dead wrong.
Moondance, Nevermind, Norman fucking Rockwell,
Modern Vampires of the City, Tusk, What's Going On.
We disagree on a lot of these.
And now it's time to debate.
That's Jody.
That's Craig.
Each episode we square off to discuss some of our favorite records.
We make our case, a special guest weighs in, and then we get a verdict from the artist.
Summer album, winter album.
Because when it comes to talking about music, it's really important that someone win.
Absolutely.
My point is, you can't answer the question of whether Graceland is summer or winter unless you answer the broader question of whether Paul Simon is summer or winter.
Do you think of these guys as a California band?
1,000,000,000%.
Oh, wow.
My relationship with Joni Mitchell, we started as friends.
How many songs did she write about you?
Yeah, there's a couple in there from the late 90s.
Is it cheating in my deliberation to say that this strikes me as a winter in California album?
I just gave you something. And you
that baseball. Summer
baseball.
Game, a summer pastime. I know.
The summer game, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'm with Craig. I think this is a summer record, and I'll tell you why.
Thank you to Jody's PR team, aka Sarah Averin from Charm School Media, for sending in the trailer for Summer Album / Winter Album. What do we think of the trailer? What do we think of the premise of the show? Just side note, listeners, sometimes it's hard to host this show, Trailer Park, alone. I used to co-host with Tim Villegas, so I just want to say shout out to Tim. Hope you're doing well. It's hard to have conversations with myself. I wish I could discuss this with someone right now because I have many thoughts and because Tim loves music podcasts, so we'll have to get this in his ears as well. First off, when the concept of the podcast was presented, I completely agreed with Craig that it was a bit far-fetched. But then the second Jody started naming albums, I was like, hell yeah, that is a winter album. The trailer was technically very well done. Really great balance between showing us the co-host dynamic and also giving us a sense of the guests that would be on the show. The pacing was also really good, and that's something I've been thinking a lot about lately when making my own audio. It's crucial to get right so that listeners don't feel like we're lagging or rushing them along. How am I doing? How about now? And now? Okay, back to it. Something I want to point out when it comes to this trailer's design is that sometimes creators don't have to sit down to specifically record a trailer in one go. It's pretty clear from the cold open of this trailer that Jody and Craig were having a conversation that later on was decided to be the opener of the trailer. It was the perfect opener. When thinking about making a trailer for your own podcast, dear listener, what do you aim for? In many cases, a trailer is an afterthought, and therefore it's scripted and voiced at a very particular time. And maybe that was the intention for this show's trailer, but then they just got some really good tape to open it up with. What would it sound like for your trailer, Trailer Parker, if you took some sound from you and your co-host Chatter and used it to blast your show open wide? There's no right answer for this. It may or may not work for you based on a number of factors, but it's fun to ponder. Okay, I think that's enough analysis for now. While I like to give feedback and share ideas on this show, I mostly want you to hear enough so that you can decide whether or not you want to check out the show at hand. So do let me know if you think you'll be checking out Summer Album/Winter Album. Summer Album, Winter Album. I feel like I don't need to put the slash in there. And if you're more of a creator, what did you grab from this trailer example? Summer Album, Winter Album is out now. That's it for today. Thank you for hitting play on this episode of Trailer Park, the podcast trailer podcast. It's good to be back in the driver's seat. We took a break there for a while, but now with the help of our producer, Adam Flaherty of the Modern Dadhood podcast, we're back. He's going to be the person organizing me behind the scenes. So we're going to be back soon with another trailer. Until then, happy trails. Just kidding, I'm still here. We have a contest going on, and I need to tell you about it because I want to make sure you enter so that you can win a free done-for-you trailer for your podcast. We're partnering with Little Monster Media to give one away. To enter the contest, subscribe to the Little Monster Media newsletter and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And maybe follow us on social so that you can let us know that you entered. The contest is open until March 15th, 2025. And then after that, we will put all of the entries into a randomizer and select a winner. And with that, I'll say goodbye and happy trails. This show is written and edited by me. It's produced by me and Adam Flaherty. It's listened to by you. You're really good at that. Bye.